What's up, guys? MMA Professor, UFC Fight Night 23, UFC Fight for the Troops 2. Whew, it's a long one. Preliminary card. Chris Carriasso against Will Campuzano. My only trepidation in picking Carriasso to win this fight, I think he's more technical on the feet. I think he's better on the ground. Campuzano's a gamer, and with pretty decent striking. He's got the reach advantage. But like I said, my only trepidation in picking Carriasso is he's pretty much a flyweight. Since that doesn't exist in the UFC, he fights at 135. I think he'd make 125 easily. Campuzano, like I said, has the reach. I'm going to go with Carriasso anyways. Unanimous decision. Campuzano, I don't know if he has the ability to put Campuzano away, but I think he's a better technical striker, and like I said, he's better on the ground. He may get a submission, but there you go. Amilcar Alves against Charlie Brenneman. Charlie Brenneman is the better wrestler here. Alves trains at Nova União with a bunch of amazing guys. He's only a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, fairly decent striking. Last fight, he got taken down and controlled by Mike Pierce before he got submitted with a straight armbar. Brenneman definitely has the ability to do that. Pretty good wrestler. Different style of wrestling than Pierce. Pierce, pretty technical and uses a lot of strength and power to get in and take down from inside the clinch. Brenneman a little faster with his shot, shoots double legs, uses his quickness a little better. I'm going to go with Brenneman by unanimous decision. I think he can control Alves from top game, avoid submissions, work ground and pound, and yeah, just wear on Alves, who seemed to gas pretty hard in his last fight, but there you go. Preliminary card on Facebook. It's why the UFC is one of the top organization for combat sports. Using social media now, streaming on Facebook, streaming on their website, they give you free fights all the time. They put together good fights, and yet people still want to constantly, the hardcores, make it cool. Apparently it's cool for the hardcores to only watch stuff other people don't. You get the same thing with metal a lot, where people are like, oh, well, they sold out in their commercial, and I'm a hardcore fan, so that's, no. See, only, idiots like that because it's popular. I like all this dark stuff that only 3 people ever in the world have listened to. That's what makes me cool, and that's kind of what I akin that to, is people now, the hardcores in the UFC, they try to denigrate it because it's popular. That was a mini rant there. So, there you go. Willoughby Chikaram Freire against Waylon Lowe. I'm going to go with Freire by submission. I think Lowe, he's just going to get caught in something and finished. I don't think he's well-rounded enough to be in the UFC, and we'll see if Chikaram is. Mike Brown against Hani Yahya. You will rarely, if ever, see me pick a fighter based on them having one chance of winning the fight. And no matter how good Yahya's one ability is to finish that fight, his grappling, he's one of the best grapplers under 155 pounds in the world. And he carries it over well to MMA because of his relentless takedowns, because of the guys he's fought, not very good wrestlers, and because his ability to chain submissions together, not just look for one submission the entire time, move, and using his quickness. Going back up to 145, had some problems making 135 a couple times. Brown, he's kind of been in his last, 5 or 6 fights, after losing the belt. Wanted to take this fight. You got to figure he's going to take it seriously, unless he makes an egregious error and Yahya pulls off a submission while Brown's in his guard, or Yahya dives for his leg and gets him in a heel hook. Still can't shake the Imanari thing. We're going to go with Mike Brown, late first round, early second round, knockout. Yahya's chin has been tested before by Joseph Benavidez, and I think Brown's game plan is going to be to keep it on the feet. Be cautious with his boxing, but I think he's going to land an uppercut as Yaya shoots for a stupid takedown from across the cage because he just rushes in. He did no takedown, ability really. I mean, jiu-jitsu takedowns. He's just going to rush in across, and Brown's going to land a vicious uppercut and knock him out. Mike Guyman against Marcus Johnson. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care about this fight whatsoever. I do think it's going to be fairly good because stylistically, it has the ability to, they're both hittable. They're both fairly good on the ground, so, but they give up position a lot. So it could be pretty offensive fight for the most part, not really too defensive. DeMarcus Johnson, the one thing I will say about him, he doesn't ever quit in a fight. He does have a lot of heart and desire to not get stopped. Guyman probably has a slight wrestling advantage in this one. Johnson better in the striking, better in the submissions. And that's why I'm going to pick him. I think his ability to finish the fight is better than Guyman, and within 3 rounds, I kind of see that happening. Guyman can definitely take him down and work top in position and not get subbed, but I think DeMarcus may be able to sweep him, sub him, or hit him with a big shot on the feet and finish it that way. We'll go with DeMarcus Johnson, second round triangle choke. Main card, Spike TV, Cole Miller against Matt Wyman. Love this fight. Love it. This is my upset special right here. Cole Miller, pretty good on the feet. Great jiu-jitsu. Extremely dangerous on the ground. Wyman, fairly well-rounded. He's pretty well-rounded, actually. He's good wrestling. He's got a lot of power in his hands. Better boxer than Miller. And good jiu-jitsu. It's hard to sub him. So, this is why I'm picking the upset here. I think Miller got to show his stand-up in his last fight. He was losing the fight technically on the feet to Ross Pearson for a little bit before he landed a left hook. And the reason why he was able to show his stand-up a little bit in that fight is because Pearson at no point had any intention of taking him down. When you get guys in there that maybe, have the intention of taking you down, which at 155, you're going to get that most of the time. It's hard to loosen up with your hands, and I think Miller has a problem, loosening up with his hands when he knows a guy's going to try and take him down. Yes, he's comfortable there off his back, but when guys are as good as the competition that Miller's fighting, they're good at staying out of subs too. So, and Wyman, he definitely has way better wrestling than Miller. He's got more power in his hands. His boxing is crisper. That's why I'm going to pick him to win. I'm Matt Wyman, unanimous decision. I think he'll win the boxing exchanges when it gets there, and I think he should use his takedown defense, or his takedowns, to try and score points against Miller, and then work a little ground and pound and stay out of subs. Hopefully that's the game plan for him, and if it is, I think he'll win. I'm going to pick it. Pat Barry against Joey Beltran. Obviously, everybody knows who I'm going to pick here. He knows this is an important fight for him. He's going to show his wrestling, he's either his takedown defense. He may take Beltran down. I'm telling you that right now. But look at this fight. Beltran is a fat 205er. I'm not taking it away from the guy. And he's extremely hittable. Nobody's saying, oh, dude, his defense is so good that Pat's not going to be able to use his way more precise technical striking. People are saying, the people that seem to be picking Beltran are for one reason. And I'm not saying this is verbatim, but this is people's honest reaction as I see it. The very few people that are picking Beltran. Dude, Beltran, it's like he's impossible to knock out. So, and Barry got hurt punching Krokop. So what's going to happen is Barry's just going to get hurt or tired by punching and kicking Beltran in the face, and then Beltran's going to take over in the later rounds and get a TKO or sub. How can anyone logically think in their mind that that's a good way to pick a fight? Is the other dude's going to get hit so much that and not get knocked out, that the guy's going to get tired of hitting him, and that's how he's going to lose the fight. Dude, Beltran is not Homer Simpson. This is not a cartoon. You can't wallop him with a 2x4 and he won't go down. He can go down. Anybody can get knocked out. Plus, nobody's ever seen him get kicked in the legs. Nobody's... Dude, the logic behind some of these people is I just can't comprehend. I can't wrap my brain around it, and I'm going to give myself an aneurysm trying to. Pat Barry, knockout. It's going to happen. There you go. Mark Hominick against George Roop. Mark Hominick, if he wins this fight, is going to get a title shot, and I think he's going to win this fight. George Roop is, he looked good against the Korean Zombie, who doesn't have any defense. He comes at you, runs at you, hands down, doesn't care. Dude doesn't think he can get knocked out, but like I said, head kick, can knock anybody out. George Roop, hard to finish. Fairly good boxer, good technical striking. His wrestling isn't there. He's okay off his back, but he prides himself on being a striker. Mark Hominick is a far better one. I want to see Mark Hominick use everything in his display, like his jab, use leg kicks. He's the better wrestler. He's better on the ground. Hominick could get a sub. You saw what he did to Yves Ribouen. Pretty much positionally dominating on the ground. So I'm going to go with Hominick here, unanimous decision. Like I said, Roop hard to finish, but Hominick's going to pull it out. Tim Hag against Matt Mitrione. Tim Hag, pretty durable. I know the Duffy fight was probably a fluke. He's pretty hard knockout. He's, again, a tough guy, pretty huge guy for a heavyweight. Mitrione, the same, probably Mitrione's bigger than him. Mitrione, better athlete, better striker, better ground game, better wrestling, better everything. Mitrione is going to finish this fight by TKO in the second round. So there you go. Evan Dunham against Melvin Guillard. Hard fight to call. Dunham, coming off the loss to Sean Shirk against Guillard, who, trains at Jackson, seemed to get his act together. He's a guy that has, either mentally lapsed in fights, given up mentally, gassed. He's a pretty stellar athlete, explosive, and he's a good kick. Probably the better of the kickboxer. Wrestling wise, Dunham I think has the advantage. Power is Guillard. Submissions definitely Guillard or Dunham. Definitely Dunham by far. And this is one that's hard to how is Greg Jackson going to come out and game plan Dunham? I think it's going to be the same thing that he did against Jeremy Stevens, except for engaging more because Dunham doesn't have the knockout power that Stevens does. So I think he's going to cut angles, use his jab, leg kicks, and try to stay off the bottom with Dunham. Maybe use a takedown himself, but sparingly because Dunham is very good off his back. I could see either way how this fight can go. I can see Guillard winning a decision by using a smart game plan. I could see him hurting Dunham and finishing him. I could see Dunham finishing Guillard more, and I'm going to pick that. In my head, I was leaning towards Guillard, but at this point, how many mistakes he's made, I don't know how much he can shore that up and push forward. I think, with Dunham, he's just in a little over his head here. Dunham's going to grind on him, push him mentally and physically, and I see Guillard wilting and Dunham getting a late stoppage via submission, possibly an armbar or a guillotine. So there you go. Picks. Fight for the Troops 2. Watch the fights on Facebook and watch it on Spike TV. Free fights. Can't complain about it. It's good stuff. Good stuff. You guys, stay metal. Later.